Today I'm going to share with you 3 exercise hacks that help me to lose 90 pounds and to go from this to this. And before I forget, if you want to get a glimpse into my exercise routine, click on the link in the video description and download a copy of the workout plan that I am using this week. I'll give you all of my cardio sessions as well as my strength training sessions for the week. So if that's something that you're interested in, click on the link in the video description and check it out. Now, when I started my weight loss journey, I started at 218 pounds. And I was exercising pretty much every day at that point, but I wasn't seeing a lot of movement on the scale simply because I didn't have my nutrition in check. So I decided to follow the 75 Hard Challenge, and this is an online challenge where you have to do a series of tasks every single day for 75 days. It's not necessarily a workout challenge or a diet challenge. It is a mental toughness challenge. It's designed to build discipline. But what I really needed was discipline, not only in my exercise routine, but my nutrition as well. And this challenge was going to force me to do both. So I started on the 75 Hard Challenge, and this challenge required me to complete 2 45-minute workouts per day. I had to complete 1 outdoors, and those workouts had to be at least 3 hours apart. So you are truly doing 2 workouts per day. And I decided that, you know what, if I have to do 2 workouts per day for 75 days, I'm going to do the easiest thing that I know how to do for these workouts. And that is simply to walk. So for the first 75 days of that challenge, twice per day, I simply walked. And there were some days where I didn't walk twice a day. One of those 45-minute workouts, I simply stretched for 45 minutes because I needed the active recovery for my body. But for the most part, for the 75 days of that challenge, I simply walked. And what I found was that walking for those 2 45-minute workouts equated to about 10,000 steps on average per day. So I could get about 10,000 steps in every day as long as I was walking those 2 workouts. I looked up at the end of 75 days and I had lost 30 pounds. I had gone from 218 pounds to 188 pounds. I could not believe that I lost 30 pounds simply by walking. So my first exercise hack that helped me to lose 90 pounds was simply walking off the first 30 pounds. So on the next phase of the 75 Hard Challenge, which was after the initial 75 days, I decided that I wanted to do a little more. I decided that I wanted to do more than just walking. I wanted to do a little running, and I wanted to incorporate strength training with that. And it was important for me to start running because that was actually my end goal for my weight loss journey, is that I wanted to become a runner again. I wanted to run long distance road races. And so if I'm going to run long distance road races, then I have to start running. And so once I lost the initial 30 pounds, I was like, okay, it is time to incorporate running into my routine. And then because I couldn't run twice a day, I decided that if I was going to continue following 75 Hard and do 2 workouts per day, one of the workouts would be running and the other workout would be strength training. And so I started to run for one workout and strength train for the other workout every day for the next 45 days. Now, after the 75 Hard Challenge was over, I decided that I needed to cut back on the 2 workouts per day. So I came up with an exercise routine where I was actually following a running training plan, training for a road race, and then I was also incorporating strength training as well. And so I would run for 4 days a week and I would strength train for 4 to 5 days a week on what is called a split. And a split is simply where every day you're focusing on a different major muscle group. So some days I might focus on upper body, some days lower body, some days chest and back, and some days core. But I just continued to follow this exercise routine where I was doing 4 days of running and 4 to 5 days of strength training. And over the course of the next 6 months, I lost a total of 40 pounds. I went from 188 pounds down to 148 pounds. So the second exercise hack that helped me to lose the next 40 pounds in 6 months on my weight loss journey was simply incorporating running and strength training. And if you want to see a glimpse of what my routine actually looks like, click on the link in the video description and download that exercise plan. Now, I continued to follow this routine for the next few months. I was running 4 days a week, and I was always training for some sort of road race, whether it be a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon. I was always following a training plan that required me to run 4 days a week. And then I was still also strength training 4 to 5 times per week. Now, what happened was that I wasn't losing any more weight over this period of time. I was still 148 pounds, but because I had incorporated strength training, my body really started to change. The shape of my body started to change. And I was getting smaller and getting slimmer, and my pants were fitting looser, and I was having to buy smaller pants even though the scale wasn't actually moving, because I was strength training. It got to the point where I had lost so much fat, and if you see my before picture, you'll see that I had so much belly fat around my midsection. But I got to the point where I had lost so much fat around my midsection that I had nothing left but loose skin. And so I made the decision to have that loose skin removed by a tummy tuck, because it was actually starting to impact my workouts. I would do planks on the floor, and that loose skin would fall out of my compression pants because it was so squishy, and it really, my pants just wouldn't hold it in. I would be running, and I was constantly pulling up my compression tights for the same reason. And it didn't seem to matter what size compression tights I bought, that loose skin just found its way out of it, and it was getting so heavy because it was nothing but skin. And so I did end up having the tummy tuck and had 1.5 pounds of loose skin removed around my abdomen. Now, the third exercise hack that helped me to lose the 90 pounds actually came after the tummy tuck. So I had a 6-week recovery for my tummy tuck, and then I started to train for a marathon. And when I started to train for this marathon, I was really ramping up the amount of running that I was doing. Not so much the number of runs. I was still running 4 days per week, but I was increasing the mileage. When I trained for my marathon, I was training by mileage. And so I was going from like 20 miles per week till at one point, I had one run that was 20 miles long. And so I was steadily increasing my mileage over the course of 18 weeks. I looked up at the end of that 18 weeks, the day of my marathon, I had gone from 148 pounds to 132 pounds. Over the course of marathon training, 18 weeks of marathon training, I lost another 16 pounds. And so my third exercise hack that helped me to lose 90 pounds was to set a goal to complete an endurance event, and then take the time to train for that endurance event over a period of time. And in my case, marathon training was 4.5 months. So that was 4.5 months of dedicated effort. That was 4.5 months where I had to be extremely disciplined to ensure that I got in all 4 runs every week. It was a period of time where I was steadily increasing my mileage, so I was doing a little more and a little more each week. Not only that, I still had to focus and find a way to get in strength training, which became a little tougher, admittedly, towards the end of marathon training. And then it also forced me to maintain good nutrition, because without that good nutrition, there is no way I would have ever made it through the 4.5 months of marathon training and then to successfully complete the marathon. So combining these 3 hacks, starting out with the most basic of exercises, walking, and then incorporating running and strength training into my routine, and then finally training for an endurance event over an extended period of time. And with those 3 hacks, I was able to successfully lose 90 pounds. Now, as far as maintenance goes, I have been able to maintain relatively well. Now, I did not expect to maintain my marathon weight post-marathon simply because I wasn't running as many miles. So I did put on about 10 pounds post-marathon, which was perfectly fine. I am in the throes of marathon training again for this season. I am having to increase the amount of food that I'm eating, complex carbs, in order to fuel those workouts. But I am sure that I will probably shed a few pounds over the course of this 18-week marathon training cycle again. So just continuing to follow that blueprint. 4 days of cardio and 4 to 5 days of strength training, I have been able to successfully maintain my weight loss even post-marathon training. Let me know in the comments what exercise hacks you found helpful on your weight loss journey. I'd be really interested to hear the things that are working for you. And if you would like that training plan, the plan that I am using right now to get in shape for the marathon, click on the link in the video description and I will send it right over to you. If this video has been helpful to you, take a moment and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't joined the community yet, take a moment and hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you here as part of the Get Fit community. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.